I'm going to share my bike buying experience with you guys, which is actually really cool. So Kijiji, doing some homework, a lot of reviews, didn't know which bike to get, so I looked at, okay, I knew I want to get a 300, maybe the Ninja 400, did some research, watched a couple of reviews, put my mind, okay, after hours of work and putting some things on paper and looking at some reviews and different costs and comparing different things, I said, hey, let me get the R3. So I was looking for a little while, and this bike came, it disappeared, it came back again. I guess there must have been offers on it. At one point I saw a sold sign, and this is my favorite color. This red and white is my favorite color. I saw it and I said, hey, I need that color. That has to be my bike. So, and there's not very many of them. There's a lot of the other colors, there's a lot of the black ones, there's a lot of the blue and gray ones, which is like the traditional Yamaha racing colors. But this bike, there weren't too many of them, and to me it just stands out from the rest of them. It's gorgeous, gorgeous bike. So finally I went to drive out there, maybe an hour drive or so, 45 minutes, and I looked at the bike, and when I saw the bike, I knew right then and there. I mean, the guy who owned it was an 80-year-old guy, through and through bike guy from day one. And I might have mentioned this before, I don't remember. He had a few bikes. He was like side grading. He had back problems. He just cracked 80 years old. So this bike right here, you're not necessarily too leaned forward like a Super Sport. You're more, not upright, but not down. You're kind of in the middle. There's a great site. It's called like Riding Ergo or something. I'll put the link in the description down below for that website, and you can compare different riding angles on different bikes just to kind of see before you get on it, because you don't always have a chance to ride it. So he had back problems. He could not ride the same bike, and I really wish that I was half his age. Like, just cracked 80 years old. Could you imagine that? You just cracked 80 years old and you're still buying bikes? I mean, that's killer. I would love to be 40 years old. I'd love to be 50 years old, shoot, and still buying bikes, getting a new bike. That's crazy. Wonder how his wife felt about that. And so he got a new bike. Time to sell this bad boy. I went to go see a lot of bikes before, and I know I've mentioned this before. When you're getting into what they call the beginner bike or an entry-level bike or a smaller CC bike, a lot of newbies or a lot of first riders tend to get them. And they tend to be, let's face it, they tend to be a little bit more loved, if you want to. Some of them are borderline abused, just like raped. And I would never get on some of these bikes that I've gone to see. I remember the first one was this color, the first bike I ever went to go see. I drove an hour and a half north, and I went to go see this bike. Didn't tell anybody at the time. No one knew I was getting a bike, trying to pull a James Bond secret top mission impossible kind of maneuver, and I'm trying to surprise everybody with this bike. And I went to go look at these bikes, and the first one that I saw was horrible. Oh yeah, it's been dropped in the parking lot. Meanwhile, you look at the engine casing, the engine cover casing, and the thing's like looks like someone took a die grinder to it for 5 minutes. Like, I'm like, is that thing still holding? Like, how is there oil still in that thing? And so a lot of them are love. So from there, I didn't take that bike. Long story short, I spent a few more weeks looking. I found old boy, 80 years old, had this thing, and I loved it. He kept it inside. The moment I walked in and I saw this bike, the condition that was in, I fell in love with it from the get-go. Immaculate bike, always took care of it. All the recalls were done. Like, he was ticking off every single box that I wanted. I had a list actually on my phone of things to go over that my friends had told me from my research, and I made sure that these boxes were ticked. Like, all these boxes were ticked. I mean, when you get there, you get excited, you forget things. So I kind of had that list to ground me every time I went to go look at a bike. And there wasn't one box that wasn't ticked off. Everything it ticked off. He was offering a fair price for the bike, so I said, hey, in my mind, when I saw it, I said, that's my bike. So, I had to act cool and pretend to, still ask him some questions and check it out, because, you have to do your due diligence and, give every situation the benefit of the doubt, and you never know, what you're looking at. So I went over it, checked off all my boxes, and, play the old, tire kick game, and I made him a fair offer. And he said right away, I'm selling it for X amount of dollars, and my price is firm. And I said, look, man, this bike is great. You've had a lot of people show up and they're telling you stories. I get paid next week, I can't afford insurance, whatever. Because let's face it, it does happen. Life is life, keeping it real. Things happen, you move on. And I said, hey, I'm sure you're sick of showing people this. I mean, I've sold things, you know, on various websites, Craigslist, Kijiji, whatever you guys use. There's a lot of resale, Facebook Marketplace, and it's annoying to go meet people all the time. So I said, hey, look, I'm gonna offer you. I offered him, I think, a few $100 less than, just to keep it nice and round, a few $100 less than he was asking. And he's like, you know what? Screw it, take it, man. And he even threw in a couple other, you know, doodads or bits with it as well. He threw in the fender eliminator. He threw in, I think, my first oil change where I needed the filter, the oil, pretty decent oil as well, semi-synthetic oil. He threw in the rear seat cowl as well. I mean, I'm not going to ride two up with anybody anytime soon. Looks a little bit sportier, so he threw in that. And, you know, that saved me a few $100 as well. I mean, a nice fender eliminator is costing you at least $100, $150, depending on the brand, upwards of $200. For like things like Yoshimura, Vagabond, stuff like that. If you want like the really quality stuff, they get pretty pricey. And the seat cowl, I think from factories, like just less than $100. You can get a cheap one off eBay, but I've never been a fan of eBay anything. You get what you pay for. And, you know, being on two wheels and my vow of only getting things that were quality. Oh, not the water. Just clean the bike. When I saw the guy, I liked the bike. I gave him the cash right there. I said, here, give me the ownership. On the way home, I got the insurance rather. Stopped at a place on the way home, signed all the paperwork, got my proof of insurance and everything that I needed. I got the bike put in my name, which wasn't a requirement at the time. I didn't need to, but I had to get plates for the bike so I could ride it. So I did all that the same day on the way home. I saw it in the morning, and the next day I called my entire family to see if they can give me a ride. All my friends, everyone was busy. It was like no one wanted to give me a ride. Certain people in my life, like my mom, some of my friends, didn't want me to get a bike once they found out about it. So they said, no, I'm deliberately not driving you. And I said, no, bike life. I need bike life. So what did I do? I hopped on a GO train. I rode out there and sat there for an hour. Of course, watching YouTube videos, reading reviews, learning like bike skills, development, things to know. Got off the GO train, took a bus to the guy's house. Got on the bike and, you know, walked around it a few times. Very emotional when you say goodbye to a bike, as well as when you say hello to a bike. So, you know, I let him say bye to his bike. Hit a huge steep gravel driveway. And last time I rode a bike was the summer before that CBR, the 300. So I said, he offered to take it down to the road because, I mean, I just got this thing. It's immaculate. I wasn't about to lock up the brakes and have it come out from under me on the sand, the gravel, or the mud that was on his driveway. So, you know, we babied it down. I got on it, let it warm up. Talked for a few minutes. You know, he told me about the bike a little bit more, what it's like riding, and, you know, it's really cool. It's one thing I appreciate about the bike life and the biker communities. Everyone's so open and willing, and like the friends that I've made, and we just love to share. I mean, that's why I'm here with you guys. I want to share my experience with you guys, what I learned about on the bike, what it's like to be on a bike, things to look out for, you know. So for me, I'm all about, like, learn from other people's mistakes, read on the forums. It's a lot cheaper to sit there and read about something on a forum and learn that way than to buy the parts or make the mistake yourself and learn that way. It's safer, it costs less money, and, you know, it's money in the bank for you, it's safety for you, and it's a better time for you. You're not sitting there in the shop, you're not sitting there injured in the hospital, or God forbid anything bad happens, right? So those are all things. I mean, that was the story of my first bike. I took it home. I actually had to ride down the same road that I'm talking to you guys on now. I had to go through 2 small towns, fly to work. I mean, fly to work. I was so scared. At one point I jumped on the highway. That was a whole different story my first time on the highway, and I was so scared. It was a big sweeping turn. I got to work, and from then on there, I mean, the rest is history, and here we are today, you know, well over a year later, a year and a half later, and my confidence has drastically built. My experience has, you know, has gained exponentially, the experience that I've gained, and just grown all around as a rider, as a person, and the friends and experience that I've had, the friends that I've made. I mean, one of the best decisions I've made, again, to do it on this bike, on the R3, just made it that much better. I mean, it's when you have the stars align, I really feel like this was an important star. I mean, R3, that's what's up. Love it. That's the story. So that's the story of how I got my bike. That's what's up. So as we're getting into this traffic, I'm gonna end this because I'm sure you guys want to just see me sitting here looking in traffic as I fog up my visor that you guys can't see. Let's open this visor real quick so I can. Oh yeah, there's a car in front of me. So yeah, thanks everybody for tuning in. Really appreciate every last one of you guys. You guys are amazing. I would love your comments. I would love to hear what you guys think, what your opinions are. You know, the stories of your first bike, how you got it, or what you've gone through to get to where you are today and watching this video. Everyone has a unique story. There's always great stuff happening. But yeah, thanks a lot, guys. Peace out, peace, love, prosperity. Till this day, I still love to do this ride. I still love to do this ride since that day. Ha, boo boo, baby, I love you. Boo boo, boo boo, I love you, boo boo. Boo boo, you my girl, boo. Baby, hey baby, baby, I love you, baby. Baby, come here, baby. Baby, can you wash my back, baby? Baby, can I go for a ride, baby? Baby, you love me, baby. Baby, baby, baby.